Ever wondered how one leader could transform a land torn by war into a shining beacon of peace and prosperity? In just a few decades? Imagine an empire shattered, its people exhausted by conflict and chaos. Then, a new emperor rises, not with an iron fist, but with wisdom and an open mind. This isn't a fairy tale, it's the story of Emperor Taizong and the incredible Zhenguan Era, a golden age that Chinese history would look back on for over 1,000 years. How did he do it? How did he build an empire so strong, so fair, and so culturally vibrant that it became the envy of the world? Stick with us as we uncover the secrets behind one of history's greatest reigns. When Emperor Taizong, Li Shimin, ascended the throne, he didn't inherit a powerful empire. He inherited the ashes of the Sui dynasty. The land was fractured, the treasury was empty, and the people were weary from years of war and oppressive rule. It was a daunting task, a situation that would have broken lesser leaders. But Taizong saw not just ruins, but an opportunity to build something new, something better. His vision was clear: to create an era of harmony and stability, not through brute force, but through enlightened governance. This marked the beginning of the Zhenguan Era, a name that would soon become synonymous with peace, prosperity, and righteous rule. He understood that to heal the empire, he first had to heal the relationship between the ruler and the ruled. One of the first things Taizong did was to completely overhaul the government's approach to the economy. He believed that the state's wealth came from the people's well-being, so he did something radical for the time. He lightened the load. He drastically reduced taxes and cut down on forced labor, which had crippled the peasantry under the Sui. His philosophy was simple: if you allow the people to rest and prosper, the entire nation will flourish. This wasn't just about economics, it was about ethics. Taizong famously said, "A ruler is a boat, and the people are the water. The water can carry the boat, but it can also capsize it." He surrounded himself with officials known for their integrity, not their connections, believing that moral leadership was far more powerful than any harsh law. He led by example, living a frugal life and shunning the extravagance that had brought down previous dynasties. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Taizong's rule was his incredible humility and his willingness to be challenged. He actively encouraged his ministers to speak their minds, to criticize his decisions, and to point out his flaws. He knew that an emperor who only hears praise is an emperor walking in darkness. The most famous of these advisors was the famously blunt Prime Minister Wei Jing. Wei Jing never held back, often arguing with Taizong to his face in the middle of the court. On one occasion, Taizong was so furious after a confrontation that he stormed back to his private quarters and yelled, "Sooner or later I will kill this old farmer!" But the empress calmed him down, reminding him that only a truly great emperor would tolerate a minister as honest as Wei Jing. Taizong agreed, and this dynamic duo, the powerful emperor and his fearless advisor, became a legendary symbol of open and effective governance. Their debates shaped policies that strengthened the empire for generations. To ensure his government was filled with the best and brightest, Taizong expanded and refined the civil service examination system. This wasn't a new idea, but under his rule, it truly became a pathway for talent to rise, regardless of social standing. For the first time on a large scale, a scholar from a humble village had a genuine chance to become a high-ranking official based on his own merit and integrity, not his family's name or wealth. This broke the stranglehold that powerful aristocratic clans had on government positions. By promoting talent over birthright, Taizong created a more dynamic, skilled, and loyal bureaucracy. This system of meritocracy would become one of the Tang dynasty's most enduring legacies, influencing governance systems across East Asia for centuries. Efficiency was another cornerstone of Taizong's reforms. The government he inherited was bloated and slow. He streamlined the administration, reforming the complex prime minister system to centralize decision-making and improve communication. By consolidating power in a more efficient structure, he reduced opportunities for corruption and bureaucratic infighting. This new system, known as the 3 departments and 6 ministries, became a model of administrative organization. Decisions could be made more quickly, policies could be implemented more effectively, and the emperor had a clearer line of sight into the workings of his vast empire. This wasn't about micromanagement. It was about creating a responsive government that could truly serve the needs of the people and the state. The results of these reforms were astonishing. With reduced taxes and a stable government, the agricultural economy roared back to life. Fields that had lain fallow were cultivated once more, and harvests grew abundant. Peace returned to the countryside, and the population began to recover and grow. Trade also flourished. The Silk Road, once perilous, was secured, and merchants traveled freely, bringing goods and ideas from as far as Persia and the Byzantine Empire. Chang'an, the capital city, became the largest and most cosmopolitan metropolis in the world. Fair laws and a stable currency created a predictable environment where commerce could thrive, turning the Tang dynasty into an economic powerhouse. While he championed peace at home, Taizong was no pacifist when it came to protecting his borders. He was a brilliant military strategist who had proven his prowess on the battlefield long before becoming emperor. He understood that lasting peace required strength. Through a masterful combination of military campaigns and shrewd diplomacy, he decisively dealt with threats from the powerful Turkic Khaganates to the north and west. Instead of simply conquering and oppressing, he often integrated defeated leaders into his own government, earning their loyalty. His victories over states like Gaochang and Kucha solidified Tang control over the vital trade routes of Central Asia. His power and prestige grew so immense that the various leaders of the northern and western regions collectively honored him with the title Tian Khan, or Heavenly Khagan, a supreme leader recognized by multiple ethnic groups. He was not just the emperor of the Han Chinese, but a respected sovereign of a vast, multicultural empire. This climate of peace, prosperity, and openness turned the Zhenguan Era into a cultural renaissance. The Tang court became a dazzling hub of creativity and intellectual exchange. Poetry, calligraphy, and painting reached new heights, with masters like Jan Lieben capturing the era's spirit in their art. Taizong himself was an accomplished poet and calligrapher, and his patronage attracted the greatest minds to the capital. The empire's confidence and cosmopolitanism drew scholars, monks, and envoys from across Asia. Delegations from Korea and Japan came to study Tang systems of government, law, and art, bringing these innovations back to their own lands. Buddhist monks like Xuanzang undertook epic journeys to India, returning with sacred texts that profoundly influenced Chinese philosophy and religion. The Zhenguan Era wasn't just a golden age for China, it was a beacon of civilization for the entire known world. Taizong was also a master of political balance. He knew that the powerful aristocratic clans, who had dominated politics for centuries, could pose a threat to imperial authority if left unchecked. However, he also understood that their influence and administrative experience were too valuable to discard completely. So, he pursued a delicate balancing act. While promoting new men through the examination system, he also carefully appointed officials from different regional clans, ensuring that no single faction could become too dominant. By playing these groups against each other and tying their interests to the stability of the throne, he maintained a stable political equilibrium. This prevented the kind of internal power struggles that had plagued so many dynasties before, allowing him to focus on governing the empire as a whole. Ultimately, the legacy of the Zhenguan Era is not just about a list of achievements. It's about the creation of an ideal. For all subsequent dynasties in China, and even for neighboring countries, the reign of Zhenguan became the gold standard of governance. It was the ultimate embodiment of the Confucian ideal of a sage king, a ruler who is wise, benevolent, and dedicated to the well-being of his people. The Essentials of Government of the Zhenguan Era, a book compiling the dialogues between Taizong and his ministers, became required reading for future emperors and officials. It was a blueprint for how to achieve lasting peace and prosperity. The story of Emperor Taizong and his golden age served as a timeless lesson that an empire's greatest strength lies not in its walls or its armies, but in the trust between its leader and its people. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey back to one of history's most fascinating eras. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you won't miss our next exploration into the past. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.